We should align more of what we're doing with our customers' visions and then be able to succeed. If you're able to know what your customers see you as, that message that you want to send out to your customers, your true message, not what you want to send out, but what your customers are looking for, it all lines up very quickly.
Thank you so much, Charles, for being here today. It is such a pleasure to have you, and I would love for you to just dive into your journey, how you got here today.
Yeah, Dr. C. Well, first off, thank you for having me here. I think you're fantastic, and I love being a part of your program. Well, just diving into who I am, I'm born in Nashville. I'm a Nashville, Tennessee person. I don't know if you can really hear my accent. It's only when I'm tired. Like you can really tell I'm a Southerner. But both my parents, they're Nashvillians. My dad worked for IBM. He was a district manager for about 28 years. Then my mom, she was a registered nurse for around that same amount of time. And in Nashville, I went to a high school called Hume Fogg. Hume Fogg Academic is one of the top 25 high schools in the country. So I got like really good learning, a lot of tools. It's a public high school. So I got a lot of tools thrown my way. Then after that, I went to the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, got my bachelor's degree in commercial recreation and tourism management. And in that time, just being in college, get to discover more about yourself, but also I got to discover more about how my personality kind of lines into my professional sense of self. I did the Disney College program back in 2001. And before September 11th, actually, I had a chance to become a Disney manager. And I was starting to go through that interview process. And then September 11th happened. So I decided to go back to school and finish up my degree. And then after that, honestly, there was a moment of walking through the oasis of my life, just trying to figure things out. And then after a while, I decided to get a little bit closer towards my passion, which I love sports. I did not really play sports because I'm a nerd, but even nerds love sports. So I went to Belmont University and got my master's in sport administration. And while I was there, I was able to do an internship with the Tennessee Titans and community relations, where I learned how business and community passion line up with each other and how community involvement also lines into marketing strategies. Right. After that, I worked for Tennessee Titans Radio, the NFL affiliate. I did marketing and I did some sales for a bit. Then around that time, my dad, he was sick. So I honestly threw my focus off about what my objectives were in life. And then once he passed away, honestly, I was kind of stalled out in my life. And then I decided about 4 or 5 years ago, I knew that I always wanted to move. Nashville is a great city. It's just like Denver, a lot of energy, a lot of thoughts about possibilities and what can happen. And I knew I wanted to move, and I was working for Smile Direct Club. I was a retention account manager. I was the person who, when you're like, I want to cancel, I'm like, that sounds interesting. Let's talk about that. But I always take care of people who decide to move forward. They became my customers. I'm a very customer focused person. So I would, fight for them, whatever it took. If they put their trust in me, like I didn't care who I was going against in the corporate structure, which that endeared me to some people. Some people didn't like that so much. But like I said, that was during my stall period. And I knew I wanted to move. I was actually thinking about like moving to Seattle, thinking about moving to San Diego. And moving to Denver wasn't even a thought. It was more of I came and visited a friend here. And it was like 5 days, and he just showed me around the city. And then like around the third day, like I realized that he was trying to get me to move to Denver because he knew what I was looking for when it came to like a new environment. And I moved here 3 Decembers ago. And it's been great. And I'll tell you one thing, what really convinced me to move to Denver, and I don't know if people like who are watching podcasts, it was when I was sitting at Coors Field, that was during the baseball game, I was sitting in the upper right field, and I saw the mountains and the kaleidoscope sky and the city in the foreground. And I was like, okay, this is it. And it's been great ever since then, just new energy that helps remind you of who you are and what you want to do. And so I have not regretted it. I've really enjoyed it.
Oh, I love it. And, similar to you, well, not maybe similar, but wanting a different change and a different pace of life. But I believe Nashville and Denver are similar in the energy level. I never lived in Nashville. I've just visited, and just such welcoming people. But the vision you were talking about when you were in the stadium and just seeing the mountains, seeing everything, that's kind of how I felt when I looked at the map and decided to move here. I was like, I feel drawn here. And just even being in that environment for you, seeing everything, it made sense. And of course, your friend wanted to be like, come to Denver instead of San Diego or other places in Seattle, but really focusing on what made sense for you. And when you did get here, I know you work with Ship Sunshine. What has that been like?
Ship Sunshine has been fantastic. I've been the business development manager. I've been doing that since June of last year. It's been amazing. My boss, Anna Costello, she told me even before she hired me that she wanted someone to represent her. And she has, rightfully so, great standards. And I'm very blessed in the fact that she felt that I met her standards. And ever since then, I've been hitting the ground running, just letting people know the Ship Sunshine does. We do printed merchandise, complete range of print services, and also we do drop shipping as well. And the way that I see it is, however you're trying to identify yourself to your customers, clients, employees, we help you get that item to them. And what makes us different, and this is my philosophy, business wise, and also just life in general, when it comes to us, like for instance, Vistaprint, you can go to Vistaprint and do what you need to get pens and mugs, and that's great. But what happens, that's not exactly what you needed. Or something happens along the way where you need to talk to someone. With us, we actually take the time to find out what your message you're trying to put out, your true message to your audience. We find those items, we curate those items, find those unique items that line up with what you are, send those out, because at the end of the day, we're not really just looking for customers, we're looking for partners. We want to line up with you, help you grow, and enjoy your success along the way, because your success is my success. And if you look good, we look good. And I don't know about you, Dr. C, I love looking great. So I love just, make sure people are amazing in everything that they do with us.
Absolutely. And, I think you brought up such a good point, and you mentioned it earlier too. It's that customer service. And when we get into business for ourselves or building a business and business development, it is about the customer experience and
Yes.
being able to build long-term relationships and partnerships. Because I love how you switch the words from customer to partners, and being able to identify that this is for the long game. It's not just here's one purchase and then you're done, but it's really building that relationship. And I think that's something that you do very well in just all the spaces I've met you, and being able to facilitate really like strong relationships and being able to continue to grow with the individual, with the companies that you do service. And I think that's an important piece of business. And how do you think that has played such a role in your life with building relationships and continuing to build relationships?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I started in this, because I did sales beforehand, one thing I always did not want to do in sales is become a churn and burn type of person. Like, oh, I've met you. Oh, now like let's go ahead and get into sales. And then once we're done, I forget who you are. I don't know anything about you. I don't even remember how to spell your name correctly. I just remember that, oh, I made my quota. So that's the most important thing. And for me, that's one thing I did not want to do when I got into business development / sales, because I'm all about people. Because at the end of the day, this might sound lame or something like that, but we're all we got at the end of the day. We're like, we all have passions, we all have dreams, we all have fears. There's something about every one of us that I love to learn about people, and then just taking that knowledge and just wanting to be there for that person and their journey for success, and meeting their goals. If I have products or services that can help them, along the way, I really love that, because it just makes me smile when surprise and delight or going above expectations, because a lot of people are just expecting like, oh, okay, it's just gonna be this. But when you listen to that person, build that relationship, find out what really makes them go, what really the business is trying, like I said before, what message you're trying to send out, and then when it all lines up, it's better like in term magical, because you just see them smile. And a lot of people, the businesses are life. Some people, they spend more time with their business than they do with their family. And so to see people smile and happy is like one of the best things ever. It might be like a remnant from my Disney days, just like seeing someone smile, is great with the Disney point. People know that like Disney point, you never do it with one finger. You got to do 2 or 3 or 4. So, yeah.
That's very true. And I love that you really set those expectations for just being able to be there for your customers, your partners. And I'm really curious if you could give some holistic advice to making sure that your customers are getting the max benefit. So I know you mentioned if they need something, you're there for them. But what do you think is the best way to achieve promotional purchases for the customers that you serve? What would you say is that key element to achieve that success?
Just being honest with themselves and actually knowing their customers, because it's one of those, you can be like, oh, well, I know this about my business and this and this and this. And what you perceive your business is might not line up to what your customers perceive your business is. And if you can realize those visions, like, oh, wait a minute, my customers see me as this, if you can get those realizations down, it makes everything so much easier when it comes to you trying to grow your business or get more customers. Because there's been so many companies who've, they shifted. They realized like, oh,
Yeah.
this isn't who we are. Like we
Mhm.
think we're this, but the customers are coming to us, they think we're this. So maybe we should align more of what we're doing with our customers' visions and then be able to succeed. And if you're able to know what your customers see you as, like I said before, that message that you want to send out to your customers, your true message, not what you want to send out, but what your customers are looking for, it all lines up very quickly.
Oh, that's huge because I think messaging is so key to everything because you could have an amazing business, but if your message isn't being heard or seen in the correct or being aligned, and if you've shifted, because a lot of times businesses evolve just like we evolve every day, every year. Well, hopefully we evolve, not all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time. Everyone's a
Yeah.
little different.
A little different, but always wanting to evolve. Yes.
Exactly. But I'm curious because you did bring up message, and I know that's a big part of what you help people with. How can we ensure that our promotional message is getting correctly positioned for success? Maybe you have an example of how you've helped somebody really align their message in being able to promote their services and their products as well.
One agency, the name is Imagine Agency. They're part of Colorado Arts Production. They're a split off, pretty much like Colorado Arts Production. They were making a whole bunch of things and handing it to
Yeah.
clients. And then clients didn't know what to do with it. So they started Imagine Agency to help their clients use it correctly, use everything that they use it correctly in their messaging campaign. And when I met with Madison with Imagine Agency, I met her at a Leads Connection, not trying to promote Denver Metro Chamber of Commerce, Leads Connection. I told her what we did. And she was like, oh, okay. She was like, yeah, we're looking for things. So what would you do for us? And I was like, oh, and it was kind of like off the top of my head. I was like, well, Imagine makes me think of fire. It makes me think of fire, something always burning, something that's, is
Yeah.
it's stable, but it's always on the move. It's always doing its thing. She liked that. So
Yeah.
she decided to give it a try and everything. So then we went back, we curated because I love curating. It's finding unique items, sent her a presentation of items, and one of them was a lighter. It was like this really cool electric lighter, but that
Mhm.
helped her narrow her thoughts on what she wanted. So she reached out to us and she's like, hey, how about some really cool lighters? And so
Mhm.
then we found some really unique lighters for her that fit under budget, got it on there, send it off to her, and she's very happy. Everyone imagines super, super happy as well. And like I said before, is that creative aspect instead of just being
Yeah.
like, I mean, of course, a marketing agency is going to say like, hey, what can you think of the top of your head? Because they're not going to do pens and mugs and things like that. But just being able to find something unique that actually speaks to them, speaks
Yeah.
to their mission. And it
Yeah.
was very fun. And like, there's a lot of other examples that I'm working on. I don't want to jinx myself because some of them are still in the works, but a lot of them have liked our approach
Yeah.
to make sure that it's speaking to their clients. Because at the end of the day, your clients and customers, and even your employees, well, especially your employees, if you're not
Yeah.
speaking your message to them, what's the point of talking?
Yeah. Just dropping the mic right there. Exactly. I mean, I love that factor and I love the idea and the concept. And you're a very creative person as well. Have you always been this creative where you've been able to just kind of think of things off the top of your head and given these ideas? Because I know it's been a journey how you've evolved throughout the years, but have you always been that creative?
Well, a lot of people think I'm a smart A. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss, but
You can.
I'm very witty. I always like, I just always throw things out there or just thinking of cool ideas. And so I think, yes, I've always been creative. Sometimes you don't appreciate your own creativity when it comes to things.
Mhm.
And it took me a while to realize that I can use my creativity in positive ways and compared to like destructive ways, I guess, I don't know. But like, my creativity in positive ways because I've come up with some just personally for myself. It's like, oh, really cool business concepts. I think it'd be awesome, or cool storylines. You know how it is being creative. You always think about random things, but this is the first real opportunity for myself to actually be able to use my creativity in a professional, more of a structured environment. And like I said before, working with Sunshine and Anna Costello, she has allowed me to use my creativity and also help nurture me along the way. I mean, I'm 43 and like, it doesn't matter. You could be like 89 or like 18 years old.
Right.
You still need people along the way to believe in what you can do along the way.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And since you brought that up, I wanted to touch on that because I think mentorship and having a supportive community is so important in the entrepreneurial space, in business development, in order to grow a business. What are your thoughts on mentorship and really having that supportive community around you?
Oh, it's so important. You can sit there and have the best ideas and doing all this stuff, but if you're not connecting with people who have
Yeah.
either been through what you've been through or
Mhm.
trying to go through what you're wanting to go through, it doesn't matter. You can sit there all day. Like I said, when I was in Nashville, I got kind of stale because I kind of disconnected myself from a community, a mentor community. And that's what I was looking for. Not just one mentor, but colleagues, pals, other mentors. And a mentor could be older, a mentor could be younger than you. I have some people that I know who are like 28 and they're amazing people,
Mhm.
or even like 22, 23 and 60, 70-year olds, because at the end of the day, like you're saying, it's all about the community. You want people who want the same thing that you want, but it doesn't mean that they want it the same way you want it. They just want what you want, you know?
Absolutely. I think that's a big part of just growing in any capacity, whether you work for someone else or you're building a business, but just having those individuals that you can look up to, even if you don't physically speak with them, there's books, podcasts, other things that can help elevate that personal development and growth. And I know that's more of the relationship building, but on more of the technical side, when it comes to tools to help grow your business, what have been some of the things that have been really beneficial for you on the back end for business development and being able to grow your branch as well?
Yeah, definitely. Well, when it comes to tools, we have the online catalog. If you go to shipsunshine.com, I'm not a subtle plug. If you go to our website, you actually see we have an online catalog, and that one is 1.5 million items to pick from.
Oh, wow.
So that allows us to be creative. Like I said
Mhm.
before, finding out what message you're trying to send to your audience. Then we have a huge catalog of items to start picking from and just really start narrowing down what you want. So I really enjoy that tool aspect. And
Yeah.
then, I don't know really if it's so much a tool, but really it kind of ties into what we're talking about beforehand. Just just people and relationships and knowing, like my dad told me a long time ago that essentially when he went to a meeting, when you walk past the janitor to meet with the CEO, don't forget that that janitor has probably been there longer than anyone else at that business, and that CEO and that janitor have a great relationship. So never discount anybody along your way because you never know how they can help you or you can help them in meeting both your goals. And goals doesn't even mean business, just life goals, just being happy at the end of your day. So I never meet a stranger, one of those type of deals. Now there's some, of course, there's people once you meet them like, oh, I don't want to know you anymore. But I'm always open to meeting people because you never know, their story might hit the same tone of your
Mhm.
song, your life song. So
Right.
always be ready. So like I said before, I don't know if that's a tool, but it's definitely something that was installed in me at a super young age. Never look past anybody.
Ooh, I love this because that's something I grew up hearing as well from both my parents of just it doesn't matter who the person is, you treat everybody equally and how you would want to be treated. So it's similar to that aspect of just it doesn't matter anybody's background. They're a human being at the end of the day, and you don't know their story. You don't know what they've been through. That's why I always love these interviews as well as when I was a therapist because I got to hear and the privilege of hearing so many different stories from people and knowing you can never judge a book by its cover because you really don't know
Yeah.
what's on the inside. And I think that's beautiful what was instilled in you as well from your father and continue to elevate that in every place you walk in as well from what I've experienced just being that very generous person and open to talking to anybody. And I think that's what it's about because people are a tool in order to be
Yeah.
able to connect. And you never know who could help who, or even has nothing to do with you, but you connect somebody else to somebody else. And I think that's the beautiful piece. So I absolutely agree. It definitely is a tool. In addition to that, I love the catalog. I wanted to ask you because
Yeah.
over a million different items, that sounds very overwhelming to me. Is there a process that you have with the catalog, or is there like maybe even just more popular items, or it varies for every single business?
Yeah, so great question. So it varies for different business to business. So essentially the way that we do it is like when we connect is of course the discovery meeting, just like every BDR and salesperson knows, you know, it's all about listening. It's all about listening and finding out, asking important questions. Yeah, there's the budget, how much you got to spend, when you need these items, what have you done in the past? Of course, those pre-qualifying questions.
Right.
But like I was saying beforehand, you want to make sure you find out what they're trying to convey, because then that actually helps not only with the budget and the money and things like that, or how many you need. That starts whittling down a lot of thought. And so once we have that information from the discovery meeting, we start curating. We start looking at items. Yeah, there might be some general swag items, general items that people like, but we also look for things that are like, okay, let's say if you have engineers, like one of your clients are engineers. We're like, what do engineers like? Engineers, they love to do things with their hands. They love being creative, and like, for instance, we're right now talking to a client who has engineers. I won't say who they are, but like they're looking at things and they love the fact that became a really cool toys, puzzles, things that are like hands-on. They love that idea. They love that aspect. Yeah, people can go on their website and start figuring out for themselves. But like I said before, it can be overwhelming. But if you tell us what you're looking for, let us be creative. Let us start giving you options and then send it back to you, create a presentation. And then you start to be like, oh, well, I don't like this. I don't like this. Oh, that seems really cool. I like this. And it might not be that first presentation. It might take one or two more refinements, but we take that time to refine it down until you get exactly what you're looking for. Whatever message, is it made in the USA, women owned, eco-friendly, whatever you're looking for, Colorado made, since we're in Denver, whatever you're looking for, just let us curate. Let us be the creative part so then you look like a great champion, at the end of the day.
I love it. So much on the back end, right?
Oh yeah, behind the curtains.
Yes.
Peekaboo.
And that's what it's about. It's all about that. It's about being able to take an idea and have the different options for somebody so you can really tailor it to their message. It's aligned. So when people get that product, they're able to be able to have it everywhere and people will recognize, oh, this is so-and-so's business, or they immediately think of that person because everything that's attached to it. So I think that's amazing.
Exactly. And I'll let you know, I'm not besmirching the mug industry because I'm sure that there's a lot of kids have been sent to college because people buy mugs.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's about the person in front of you. And that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. I'm just like, all these ideas are running through my head because I talk to a lot of people that are speakers, and I recently just like with events and how they can have promotional items at their events. Or do you do things like that as well outside of just the business itself?
Oh, yes. Yes. Actually, my very first customer when I started here, and I'm so appreciative to her. I give her a small plug. Her business is the Aussie Bookkeeper. And it was the first one that I cultivated myself. And then her main thing was that she's an accountant. She had a speaking engagement. She wanted to hand something out. And I sat down with her and we talked for a while. And she was like, well, accountants, a lot of them need highlighters. I'm like, oh, okay. And we just kind of refined it. And we found these really cool, like 5-sided highlighter where she's able to put her logo on. And she was very happy, So, yeah, we can do whatever, even like if you want a kid's birthday party or even, honestly, it's like really whatever, weddings, birthday parties, huge convention events, working with hotels. We're working with hotels now to create gift baskets, pop buys, which are developing a pop buy program for people who just want to stay top of mind with their most important top 5, top 10 clients every quarter. So we're just trying to diversify, or we are diversified, but also make sure that what we're doing is always in the interest of our partners, potential partners, not just customers. Like I said before, your customer, that's great. Like it's like going to McDonald's. Yeah, that's great. But at Chick-fil-A, they refill your lemonade and ask how you're doing. And so I think of myself more of a Chick-fil-A type of thought process. I think it's because I'm hungry. That's why
Makes sense. No, but I
Yeah.
love that. It's building those relationships too and being top of mind. And I think that's really important. Somebody might not buy in the first time they see somebody's coaching service or product-based business, But if they keep seeing it and see the attention to the detail and just being top of mind, especially those 5 to 10 top clientele or customers that are coming back, and the loyalty, because I know once I'm like in something, I'm like, yes, like I don't need to change my mind because I've already built this relationship. I trust this person. I know they have my best interest at heart. And that's exactly what you really put out there as well. It's what is at best of heart for them. And that's going to help them in any capacity, but going that extra mile. And I think people do that. They try to do that, but it's actually doing it and seeing that difference, because it might not see that ROI right away, but you might see it later on. And then also getting referrals, because I think that's the best compliment someone can give is a referral of family or friends. And, you know,
Yes. Oh, yes. I mean, in a weird way, it's kind of like dating.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah, you can go out there and shoot your shot, but it's always like the best relationships are people who can vouch for you. The other person, like,
Yeah.
when it comes to referrals, it's like, oh, I know that person. Yeah, they're cool. Like, okay, well, maybe I'll go on a date with them. They,
It's
and then
true.
they say, yeah.
That's what happened with my husband and I. 'Cause I knew a mutual friend.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You want to find out,
Yeah.
because you just don't want to waste, time is the most valuable thing that we have. That's why people pay us for it. So you want to make sure whatever you're doing is time value add. And also one of those things, that old adage, but people don't care how much you know, they want to know how much you care. So if they know that you've taken the time to actually find something for them, it lasts forever. It sticks in their head compared to, I hate to keep on going back to mugs. I'm pretty sure I'll get like some type of call from the AMA, like the American Mug Association. But it's like, it's all about you at the end of the day and what you want to do for the people who are most important in your life.
Absolutely.
And also your movement towards success.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of success, I'm really curious if there was something that you could do over again, but get the same result. What is it?
Honestly, Dr. C, it would be just being more confident in myself. Just like I said before, when my dad was sick, it threw off my confidence level.
Mm,
And just looking back and realizing when you have those moments of self-doubt, the doubt isn't there to stop you. The doubt is there to make sure that whatever step you're going to do, that you're doing it correctly. And you got to move past the doubt, but you know what I mean? Like, just don't jump out there and like, hey, look, I'm doing this. It's like, okay, why am I doing this? What am I trying to move forward to? And just whatever doubt that is when it comes to relationships or starting your own business, or just or deciding to quit your job and move to Bali and live on the top of a mountain, just whatever it is, just that just be confident. So however it's going to work out, it's going to work out. But the biggest regret you'll ever have is not trying.
oof, letting that sink in, because I do believe that is so key to success is being confident. Even if you don't feel fully confident, just taking those steps and putting in the effort. Because if you don't put in the effort, you'll never know. And it's all those what ifs.
Exactly. Because there's many times I'm pretty sure like you and other people who are listening, like sit there and wonder like, why is it that this person who is like, like I'm smarter than them, I got education, I got all this stuff, and like, and they're moving forward, and why am I not moving forward? Why? Because they're just confident. They're just, whatever action they're doing, they're just confident in their action. And that's
Mm,
the main separator at the end.
yeah, it absolutely is. I'm like, yes, yes, and yes. And that's such good insight. I'm really curious. Do you have any other great insights or advice you would give entrepreneurs or individuals that are really in the business development world that you would give?
Never let your doubt stop you, because we're all going to doubt ourselves. But whatever that doubt is, just use it as like an internal building moment. It's like, hey, why are you doing this? Should you be doing that? Just like whatever it is, like, no, I'm doing this because this is what I believe in. Or starting your own business. Because like my dad, like once he left IBM and he started his own business.
Mm,
And as one of those, he was confident. He's confident that it was gonna work. Did that mean it's gonna work? No. But
mm,
you know, just being confident goes so much farther than doubting yourself, sitting on your couch, eating Pringles, playing PlayStation. That's what I like to do on my off times. But if that's like your whole life because you're afraid of your own challenges, afraid of failure, you're, you're going to fail. You're always going to fail if you're afraid of just trying. whatever thoughts that's in your head. Just moving forward. That's all it is.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is moving forward and knowing that there is going to be that doubt because you've never done something before if it's something new, and knowing that no matter what it is, it's taking that step. It might not be the end goal of how you thought you would get there, but that's part
Yeah.
of the journey. It's knowing that it's never exactly how we plan it. Even if we try to plan things to a T, it still doesn't always work out that way. There's some maneuvers because you can't control the environment around you. You can only control you and your actions. And like you alluded to as well, is that confidence and knowing that moving through the doubt, because that's what's going to get
Yes.
you to the next step and next stage of life as well.
Exactly. Just the what's that? Blissful ignorance. Sometimes,
Yes,
like
yes.
that's why sometimes people just become they're just like they're ignorant. They're ignorant to themselves. Now, and ignorance isn't a bad thing, but they're just ignorant to the fact of their doubt. They're
Yeah.
just like, oh, I'm just going here. I'm going to do it. It's like and it's always the people who are the naysayers who want to throw doubt like in
Yes.
front of them because they have their own doubt about their own stuff. Like, well, why can this person be so confident in what they're doing? Let me pepper them with things instead of just like using them as an example of like huh, you know what? They're just moving through life. Let me just do it. Let me just do it. Just do it. Hopefully Mikey doesn't shut you down for copyright infringement, just saying just do it. Well, yeah, just just do it. And whatever happens, it just happens and you just keep going.
Absolutely. And I think it's a projection, right? A lot of times when people
Mm,
feel the doubt or are experiencing doubt from other people saying, like the naysayers saying you can't do this or this has never been done before, look at all of the people who have created something that's never been done before, starting with Thomas Edison with electricity.
yes.
It's similar, it's on top of mind. But being able
Yeah.
to have that, we wouldn't have had all these other things that have occurred from that. And it's just knowing the individuals that are saying no, they are scared for you, or it could be family, it could be friends, it could be
Yeah.
very close people, but at the same time, they've never done it. So it could be scary. Or on the opposite side, I know a lot of people who come from entrepreneur families that the parents might have not been successful and they don't want you to go into it because they're not having that success that they wanted and they want to protect individuals as well. But I think it's really focusing on if you want something, go for it and don't let
Yeah.
anyone tell you different. And that's the message I'm getting from you as well, where it's just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said, that's one reason I moved to Denver because I was like, you know, I was tired of myself in a way. I was tired of myself. I was ready for myself. So I had to clear up the cobwebs, get new energy, new synapses going in my brain, and it's been one of the best things I've ever done in my life. You
Mm,
know, it
I
really
love it.
has.
It's amazing. I have one really serious question for you though.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not giving my social security number.
Damn it.
You're great, Dr. C, but you're not getting that. Go ahead.
I'm curious, what is your spirit animal?
Ooh. Well, my spirit animal is actually a meerkat because meerkats are very playful. They're very curious, but at the same time, they're all about community. And that's what I feel I am. I'm very curious, I'm high energy, but I'm very attuned with the people around me and I want to make sure people are safe. And but also that safety doesn't mean like no, you can't move. It's like safe as in like, hey, whatever you need me to do to help you move forward, I am here for you. I want to be here for you. Like along the way, I want to celebrate your success. If there's a failure, I want to help you figure out like, well, what did you learn from that failure? So then we can all be hanging around. Like I'm trying not to use another food analogy, but like but we all can like when we're at the end of the day, when our lives are done, when we're taking our last breaths on this earth, want to look back and like, I did as much as I want to do, and I'm happy with it. So that's probably like really deep about being a meerkat. I don't think meerkats think that deep. Maybe they do. I don't know. But that's yeah, that's my spirit animal.
I love it. Well, thank you for answering that very hard question.
Yes.
But I've been so enjoying this conversation, Charles. Where can people find you? We're going to link everything below, but if you could let us know too.
Yes. So people out there in TV land or YouTube land or wherever they are, you can find us at Ship Sunshine. We're located here in Denver, up in the Sunnyside region. Of course, we're in the Sunnyside region named Ship Sunshine. And you can go to our website, shipsunshine.com. You can reach out to me. Or you can go to sales at shipsunshine.com. and I'll be happy to help you in your journey of success.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Charles, for coming on, just sharing your journey with us, the highs, lows, everything in between. But I know I so appreciate your energy and just everything you're doing to really help build that customer loyalty, as well as with partners, and continue to grow their promotional services, as well as just getting their message out there in an aligned way.
Excellent. Well, Dr. C, thank you very much for having me on your program. You are amazing. And I have nothing else to say besides thinking about that Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Well, hopefully you go get it. But thank you again, Charles. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment below what was the biggest takeaway from Charles today. I'm sure he would love to see that comment, and we'll see you on the next episode.